Indonesian football players and fans have been left dismayed and disappointed by a decision by FIFA, the governing body of world football, to drop Indonesia as host of the Under-20 World Cup next month. The move followed weeks of political turmoil and protests in the majority Muslim country about Israel's participation in the tournament, even though it qualified last June. The host country's team heard the news late Wednesday in an emotional gathering that left team members deflated, worried about their future prospects. Here's some of what was heard during and after the team meeting in Jakarta.
The opportunity that you should have had is suddenly gone. Regardless of the issues, we're talking about sports. People might say, this is just a World Cup. That's for those who don't understand football. But I'm sure this is the dream of all of us.
We've done our best preparation. We trained 3 times a day. People just don't know how hard we've worked. So please, if you want to say something or give an opinion, be considerate, because we, the players, are now affected. Not just us, but all footballers. I just hope and pray that Indonesia won't be sanctioned, so we can still participate in other FIFA tournaments, and our football is saved, so that we can still have a career in football.
There's disappointment across the board in a country that was looking forward to hosting the Games. DW's Asia Pacific Bureau Chief Georg Mattes and Rebecca Napitupulu report.
This is where the opening game for the U-20 World Cup should have taken place, the Gelora Bung Karno Stadium. It was all there, the infrastructure, the slogans, even the mascot. But just 2 months before the kickoff, the dream for Indonesia's football fans is over.
Of course I'm disappointed. It was a dream, a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for Indonesia to join the World Cup. But the decision has been made. Let's pray for the best. Let's fix our football first. There are a lot of problems we face in our football association. Let's do what needs to be done for our football.
FIFA pulled the World Cup from the host nation Indonesia following protests against Israel's participation.
Israel qualified last June for its first ever Under-20 World Cup. But the protests here in Jakarta erupted only 2 weeks ago, demanding that Israel not be allowed to participate.
It was all triggered by the governor of Bali asking the government not to invite Israel to their Bali stadium. Indonesia and Israel do not have formal diplomatic relations, and support for the Palestinian cause in the world's most populous Muslim-majority nation runs high. Experts now fear that the clash of politics and sport has jeopardized the entire country's reputation as host to big events.
I think there's also a risk for international organizations. If there are international events, and then we bid to become the host, because the international community will be taking notes on this issue. I don't know how Indonesia can rescue its image.
These young players now have to pay the price. Their automatic qualifying spot as host nation is gone. Officials have already warned that losing the tournament will cost the country hundreds of millions of euros. And FIFA is threatening further sanctions, potentially even excluding Indonesia from the 2026 World Cup qualifiers that begin in October.
And joining me now for more context on this is DW correspondent Rebecca Napitupulu from our Jakarta bureau. Rebecca, what is the mood right now in Indonesia?
Yes, it's been a pretty gloomy day for Indonesia. This has been a dream not only for the football team, but also for all Indonesian to be able to participate in the World Cup. But sadly, that dream has to be gone. And not only for the football fans, but also for the players. They've been expressing their disappointment and anger through social media, saying that, of course, this is not the result they they hope for. They've been practicing and they've been preparing for this very big moment. And we have to understand how important and how dear football is to Indonesian society. I believe every kid, every boy in Indonesia grew up playing football once in their lifetime. It has become a part where the football fans and the players have a deep interaction towards each others. And the last time Indonesia joined World Cup was back in 1938, where we joined as Dutch East Indies. So this is actually an opportunity that we've been waiting for such a long time, but sadly it has to go another way.
And what is therefore the impact of this decision on Indonesia's participation, specifically in the Under-20 Football World Cup, and in a larger sense on football in general?
Yes, the reason the Indonesian football team are able to join this Under-20 World Cup is because we have that opportunity to be the host of this World Cup. And by us not becoming the host of this year's World Cup, it means that the Indonesian team will not be able to participate in this World Cup as well. And for the national football, we are still waiting for FIFA's decision whether or not we will be given any sanction on this. But if so, probably harm to the national football team, banned from any FIFA tournaments. And we also have to mention that the Indonesian government, they have poured out 10.7 million euro in preparing 6 stadiums across Indonesia for this big event. And not only in sports events as well, but this big moment has been a great opportunity for the economy and also for the tourism, local tourism across Indonesia. But that has to be just another dream for the people to host another international events that would bring a big impact to the local communities as well.
Rebecca, how much of the controversy we are seeing is connected to presidential elections slated for next year?
Yes, so next year, 2024, Indonesia is going to hold one of the biggest general election, and one of them is the presidential election. 2 governors who decided not to welcome the Israeli team to play in their area are Bali Governor Iwayan Koster and also Central Java Governor Ganjar Pranowo, and they expressed their objection for the Israeli team to play in their area because they feel like it is a response to Indonesia's support for the Palestinian. And some analysts seen this to be a gesture for them to be able to say that they are standing with the people, they are standing with the value that most Indonesian believed in, as Indonesian is one of the biggest Muslim majority countries in the world. And also Ganjar Pranowo, the Central Java governor, he is actually one of the most potential candidate for the presidential election next year. So this has been given him a lot of spotlights on this controversies from his statement to the result of this U-20 World Cup in Indonesia.
Will Indonesian football be able to recover from this controversy?
That is the hope that I do believe all Indonesians shared, even though we're still very sad about the result. We feel disappointed about the results, but I got to talk to some of the football fans on the streets earlier, and they said that they hope in the next 5, 10, or 20 years, Indonesia will be able to show that the football team will grow and the organization will become a better organization in managing all this football team and also events, especially the World Cup, because this is one of the big dreams for Indonesia. So hopefully the next generation will keep up that fire within them and will be able to recover together from what has been unfortunate events for the country.
We'll leave it there for the time being. Thanks so much for joining us today, Rebecca Napitupulu.